Ralph, thank you so much for coming tonight and having a chat. The first place to start is to find out how you are doing in this interesting time.
I'm actually enjoying it. I'm getting so much done and having so many thoughts and eating better and getting more sleep. And I had my first real choir practice, Inner Voices, which is the from comprehensive schools all over the southwest of London. We had our first rehearsal today, but it was in the form of lessons in a school, West London Free School, the school of the founder, the amazing teacher, Edward Watkins. And we were rehearsing some pieces by Paul Mealer there today,
Wow.
Which was wonderful.
So does that mean it was permitted because it was a lesson rather than a rehearsal?
Yes, we had people in separate rooms so that there were few of them in each room, all properly distanced. So it wasn't really a choir practice, it was a lesson, yes. But I'm finding it great. I've enjoyed all the Zoom stuff that I've done and all the virtual stuff. And I did a virtual evensong and persuaded Stephen Fry and Simon Russell Beale to read the lessons. and actually people have said to me, Stephen Fry reading a lesson, but he's an atheist. But the lesson he chose was Goliath and David. And I challenge people to find one phrase which accords with Christian values in the story of David and Goliath. And because it's a savage, ghastly story of young David, teenager, cutting off the head of Goliath and showing it to them who flee. Anyway, so things like that have amused me a lot. And I know things have amused you in lockdown as well, Bob, and you've kept bright and engaged.
You have to, you come to a point, you can go down a little way and then eventually everyone hits a point where they've got to go, nope, something's got to happen. Now we had a very nice concert cancelled, didn't we? I was very disappointed.
Oh, yes. Well, that was, do you mean my 70th birthday?
Yeah.
One? Yeah, well, I've conducted all Brahms symphonies except for Brahms Symphony No. 4. And Brahms Symphony No. 4 is my favorite. And I was taught it at school by David Neild, who was then only a few years older than me. Well, still only a few years older than me, because these things remain the same. And so I decided on my 70th birthday, extravagantly, to buy an orchestra, one of yours, and do Brahms 4 and conduct it for the first time in my life. And David Neild, this amazing teacher, was going to be guest of honor. And in the first half, we were going to do the Fauré Requiem. And but it didn't happen, of course, 30th of April. So I'll probably have my 70.5th birthday or something like that, or invent some fraction and do it sometime when I'm allowed to.
Well, we'll. That's got to be one of the first ones that we put in the diary once we're all allowed to do things.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely. Well, so you know that we've been engaged on this little pathway, bit of fun, and we've been looking at the Agnus Dei from the Fauré
yes,
as our focus from this particular step.
Yes.
And I know that you've conducted the Fauré once or twice.
Yes, absolutely. It was going to be in the first half of my birthday concert, and everybody was going to get a chance to join in the Fauré, but that wasn't to be. But it is a great piece. I absolutely love it, and over the years I've come to realize why, and it's because he's such a clever. Fauré is one of these people who's clever without you noticing it. So he manages to be simple in a way that makes you makes things straightforward and easy. When you sing the Fauré Requiem, there isn't a single difficult interval to sing. And, you know, if as rehearsers of it, there's nowhere where we find it really, really challenging to get a little bit right. And that's because he knows how to write for choirs, because he writes harmony, which easily goes from one chord to the rest. There's one of the greatest moments is in the opening. Bomb, it goes, Requiem aeternam, bomb, bomb, dona res domine, and so on. And then right at the end, luceat eis, let light shine on them. Luce, and it goes from E flat major, if you follow me, third inversion F dominant seventh of F major with a E flat in the bass to D flat major. And that is a really wrenching modulation, but he does it with such ease. So it's absolutely beautiful. You just remember it at the end, luceat eis. So that's it. That's it. That's it. Keep going. And then another 6/4. That's right.
And then
A major, first inversion. So D minor with a B. That's right. It's just such a spine-tingling moment, I think, and done with such ease. You know, you don't quite notice how difficult it is.
Can I just throw something in there, because this is remarkable. Ralph and I hooked up on a little Zoom call to start before you guys arrived. And he said, the first thing he said to me after telling me he was in the Athenaeum was, bugger, I forgot my score. So what he's just been doing is without a score.
Well, it's a great moment. It's a great moment. It's wonderful to remember it. And another thing I love about requiems particularly is you always find the word Jerusalem is set with particular love. And in fact, it's not just requiems. I always find Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is referring to the Jerusalem in our hearts. You know, it's the Jerusalem to which we aspire, all of us, the great sense of peace and happiness to which we aspire. And, you know, Psalm 84, I was glad when they said unto me, we will go into the house of the Lord, means, well, actually, it was sung at a time of when all the tribes of Israel gathered in Jerusalem. And so when they finally got to the temple, they said, oh, we're here. Our feet now stand in exactly the place. It's a mistranslation, our feet shall stand. It should be our feet now stand. We're so happy to be here. And so at the end of Fauré in Paradisum, that when Jerusalem happens, the tenors and basses gently come in on a G major chord. It's absolutely spine-tingling at that moment. And by the way, in Fauré, you're not doing Sanctus, are you? It's Agnus Dei, isn't it?
Well, we're doing Agnus Dei on this step, but if providing there's enough steps along the way, we might complete the whole thing, including having the Liberame sung by our wonderful vocal coach, Matt.
Oh, lovely. Well, I always think in Fauré, I feel sorry for the altos, because he neglects the altos often. And actually, most women can sing alto or soprano. They're not like, men can either sing tenor or bass. And if I try and sing tenor, it's a ghastly racket. But women's voices, they just are stronger as an alto than a soprano, or stronger as a soprano than an alto. There are exceptions, of course. And so I always ask altos, if you'd like to join sopranos in Paradisum, And in the Sanctus, you've got all the beautiful Sanctus, Sanctus, which is just for sopranos. And altos come in right at the end just to fill in the chord. And so I think, I hope I'm not saying the wrong thing, Bob, in saying that altos should join in as often as possible. I just tell altos to join in as often as they can. And at the end, on Jerusalem, when the tenors and basses come in, why not have altos on the top of that and second tenors, and all tenors doing the second tenor part, for example. Anyway, I often feel that composers just sort of sling down who it seems right to have singing without actually thinking of the people who are standing there doing nothing, or the people who would love to help the tenors, or the fact that there aren't quite enough tenors, you know. But it's such a glorious piece. But it's just Agnus you're doing at the moment, isn't it?
just that one section.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic.
And I can let you into a little secret, because with many amateur choirs, the section in the middle after the Lux Aeternam, which is the descending chromatic section,
yes, beautiful.
Most people find it hard to retain the pitch. It's a
yes.
You know, if you go flat on a descending chromatic line, you're normal.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
So and I have suffered a few dreadful performances of this section in live concerts. Yes,
I bet.
But we invented a little cunning ruse, so that when these guys are making their recordings, they are listening to a computer generated sound which surrounds them a bit. It's a bit eggy, but it's good enough. And on top of that, we had a piano pinging out the first note of each bar. So for each of the four parts, they only hear their own part. They hear their own part pinged out. And basically, the idea was, it was like when rock climbers climb up, they climb a bit and they hammer a post in, a little post in, and they tie onto that, and then they climb a bit more and they hammer another one in. So even if you fall, you don't fall very far.
Yes.
And the theory being that if you can have something to home into on the first beat of each bar, you can't go too far wrong. And it's I've heard the recording, and it's worked really well.
Well done.
It's so exciting.
Oh, well done.
It's a cheat, but you know, hey, there's negatives in this electronic wizardry, so let's have some positives as well.
It's a great moment, isn't it? Because the C is held on by the sopranos, and then everybody comes in on an A flat major chord, and it is as if Lux Aeterna, as the light is being turned on at that moment. It's a beautiful moment. Things go in a different direction, and we achieve what we aspire to, which is eternal light. You know, it's all about achieving beautiful things that we've longed for. You know, it's an amazing piece.
We've just been just prior to this, we were doing one of our analysis seminars on the piece. I think Michael's probably the only one who was there today. Rose was there yesterday, but we spent a lot of time in that middle section because it's so meaty. Yeah,
it's the actual notes are not difficult, but I agree with you that it's awkward to keep in tune. And you can one thing I get choirs to do is use the app ClearTune. Do you ever use that?
No, I don't know.
Well, when I sadly don't take a choral society at the moment. I take lots of choirs, but not a choral society, and I wish I did. But when with the Windsor and Eton Choral Society, who were great, but there was always the problem of sopranos around an F and a D, and when that was a little bit flat, I would get my phone out of my pocket, just as I have now here, and turn on ClearTune, and they'd all go, oh, and immediately start singing sharper anyway, just because they saw my phone. But then I'd show them, it's a really good thing to do, Bob. You get this thing ClearTune, and you turn round your phone to the choir so they can see it. and you just wait for them to sing it in tune. You don't start saying, oh, it's flat and things like that. You just let them both see and hear that it's flat, and it very soon comes in tune. And it's a good way of practicing. If you know that's this clear tune, you can. It's very cheap, and it's just one little sum, a couple of quid or something you pay forever, and you can sing down a chromatic scale and see yourself exactly in tune or not. I find it's magic with choirs, getting them in tune by using that. And that's the perfect moment to do it.
Okay, so let me put you on the spot.
Yeah.
You now this is Desert Island Discs.
Yeah.
And one of your Desert Island discs is the Fauré Requiem. I think that's likely to be the case.
Yes.
We have to play a recording of it on this show. So which not necessarily which recording, but which performance shines out brightest in your memory?
Well, I've heard quite a few, and the one I remember of old is David Wilcox, of course, who did one of the earliest performances of it with King's Choir. And this is the wonderful one with Bob Chilcott singing Pie Jesu when he was a treble. and Bob tells the story of because David didn't necessarily hand out solos till the last minute. You know, he'd just rehearse a few people, and notably in the carol service, you know, and Stephen Cleabury kept that up as well. But Bob arrived from playing a game of football in his football kit, and arrived at the recording session just in time. Oh, good, said David, just in time to do Pie Jesu. And he sang Pie Jesu with his football kit on, and in the chapel at King's. And of course, it's absolutely beautiful. But I think that's lovely, because it would be so easy to be twee and say, oh, no children will play games on the day when we're doing a recording. Rubbish. David Wilcox knew that, you know, what made people tick, and it would be all the better for him having done a few spectacular tackles before coming and singing it. And of course, Bob is a great musician. Bob writes some wonderful things. Incidentally, Bob, my brother, is doing a thing, the Emergency Fund for Cathedral Choirs, because there are lots of cathedral choirs in a terrible state because they rely on tourism so much for their income, and their choirs, I don't know how they used to before tourists, but that's another matter. And so my brother and the Ousley Trust have set up a fund called the Cathedral Choirs Emergency Fund to pay for it. And I've helped him with it in a tiny way with my Virtual Evensong, and he's up to 2 million now. So, which is amazing that so many people have helped, including the church commissioners. To say thank you, he's done, first of all, the choral scholars of cathedrals all over the country got together and did an evensong. Then the choristers sang something together, bit written by Bob Prizeman. And then, and this is what he's doing at the moment, the lay clerks are doing a complin. And Bob Chilcott has written a piece specially for it. Joanna Marsh has written a piece specially for it. And Paul Mealer has written a piece specially for it. And they put it together virtually, as with all these things. And it will come out soon. But those people have all given their time for nothing. Those composers have given their pieces for nothing. And it's soon coming up. But then the fourth thing he's done is with all the organists. And he's split up da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum into about 50 slices, sort of 2 bars each. And each cathedral organist will play a couple of bars of it. So it'll go from one to the other right the way through with different cathedral organists. And he's got David Briggs, who is organist now of St. John the Divine in New York to do the master track. So he's played the whole thing, but nobody will hear David Briggs, stunning organist though he is. Nobody will hear him. They will all hear the organists doing David Briggs's interpretation, but on their own organ. And the Liverpool Cathedral has the biggest low notes of all, and the vastest acoustic, of course, and that does the big bottom D, huge foghorn just after the beginning. So bow, and that will be, and that's all. That's the entire contribution of Liverpool Cathedral's organ. It's going to be that. Bah.
Fantastic.
Anyway, there's so many things have happened during lockdown that otherwise wouldn't have done. And there's people have been so creative and had so many ideas, not least education. And I could talk about education for a long time, and I won't, because we're talking about the Fauré Requiem. But when do you start recording it?
It's all been done. We're
done.
Well, halfway. We've got this methodology that we've developed where we record the audios tracks to an electronically generated thing.
Yes.
And that means that you've got this very loud thing in your ears, and you've got something to latch onto. And it's got the piano pings for the intonation, and it's got a click track for the writs and things like that. And then that's all been mixed up.
Yes.
And then the guys record this again for a video.
Yes.
So that the video doesn't have people singing in earphones.
Oh, good.
And we dress up. We dress up in concert dress.
So of course
it's a proper performance. And the great thing about the video recording is that the audio track from the video recording is deleted, because we've already got the audio done separately.
Very
so
good.
You can mime, shout, sing, you can do whatever you like, as long as it looks good.
You can sing dirty words if you want.
Thank you, Neil. Yeah. So that I think the video recording happens over this weekend. And I think the deadline is somebody nod. Is it Monday evening, 10 o'clock? Yes, there we are. So that's the deadline for everyone to get their videos back in, and then that all gets mixed up. And then on Saturday week, we have a big party where everybody gets to see and hear it for the first time.
Oh, wonderful. And then everybody can hear it on YouTube at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's exciting, because you can write little notes to each other, can't you, at the side? Little rude notes. Don't listen to this bit. That was where I got it wrong, sort of thing.
That's exactly right.
Exactly. Yeah. What fun.
Then we have a week off to let everything calm down, and then we start again with Bruckner, Locussiste.
Oh, lovely.
The nice, one of the nice little things that we have going on is that all the people who are on the current step of the Camino get to vote for the repertoire for the next step. And that's what came out as tops. I'm a little bit concerned because we started with Ave Vera and we had all my string players played, and that gave us a nice sort of cushion to sit on top. Now we've got organ for the Fauré. So we're now going to tackle something a cappella. So we're going to have to be on our game.
Yes. How will you do that? Will you start? I sometimes play it on the piano as a foundation track, and then everybody has to join in with that.
Yeah, but we create a home track, rather like that.
Yes.
But we do it MIDI generated voices singing R.
Yeah, yeah.
And then everyone has a part emphasized version of that, so that it feels like you're sitting in the bass section a bit, surrounded.
And when I conduct it, it's just conducting what I hear, so I'm not really in charge at all. It's just pure vanity.
Yes.
I'm sure you control things, Bob, when you conduct them on virtually.
I don't think control's quite the right word. I think because you're starting from the electronic version, there has to be a bass. But I think you can encourage people.
Yes.
And I think there's been a mixed reaction. I think different people work in different ways, but some people are very happy to sing to a click.
Yes.
But however confident you are that your entry's coming up, if someone goes like that, it does generally give you a little bit more confidence. So,
no, that's true.
So that I record my conducting, I record my rehearsal conducting video.
Yes.
Before the audio recordings are made.
Yes.
And after that, I then record a performance conducting video in my tails and my what has been described as my correspondence shoes.
Oh, and that is flashy.
That is very flashy. Yes, they're my special shoes. But at that point, I'm then following. Yes.
You have a picture of your shoes during the conducting?
No, not a picture of only my shoes, but I do wear my special red bro shiny shoes to conduct in. It's an affectation.
Oh really? Affectation, I see.
Calculated. I just, I did it for a bit of a gag once, and it went down very well, and so I always wear my bright red, shiny red shoes.
How very good. I must think up something like that. That's very good. And what's next afterwards on Camino? Oh, it's Locus Iste.
Locus Iste. That basically we work as a 4-week pattern, and it's grown and grown and grown. For even we're 3/4 of the way through the second step, and it's already growing. We have our own wine bar, online wine bar.
Lovely.
Where Laura's hosted one of those evenings. Michael is going to quite soon.
Yes.
I can't see it. Neil has as well. So
yes.
And the beauty of those is that they're limited to small numbers. So it's people all over the country, and in fact some a couple in Canada as well, who just drop in, and because it's limited in number, everyone's off mute. So it's just like meeting fellow enthusiasts in a pub and saying, "Oh, what's your choir doing this term?"
Yes.
And when was your favourite Fauré Requiem? That sort of stupid things, but it's fantastic. The momentum it's got. So with all these little extras.
We always do that at the end of our Zooms and things. I say to, when we have meetings of people who would have come on choral courses, for example, or a rehearsal, an online rehearsal, and I say, right, unmute everybody and just let's have a free for all. Everybody saying hello, hello, and saying anything you like. And they all seem to like that. We've just done Os Justi, Os Justi, another, which is a stunning Bruckner motet, I think. And I was very pleased with the results. It's an amazing piece, Os Justi. And Camino, I don't even know what Camino means.
No.
Is that ignorant of me?
Not necessarily.
Well, obviously it's ignorant. Well, it is, because I don't know.
The Camino, El Camino is a pilgrimage route along the north of Spain, finishing in Santiago de Compostela.
Oh,
and so we've got a couple of people on the project who have walked it's about a month's walk, depending where you can start at different places. And the whole point is that of this project is that we are on a pilgrimage, and
of course
you're traveling along, and it's the joy is meeting the people as you go along and talking to them and chatting and finding out about different things.
How lovely.
So that's what it's modeled on.
And the pilgrimage thing is there's a pilgrimage trust or something with a chap called Guy Hayward doing it, and I know about that because we've just properly made a charity of our thing, the Choral Evensong Trust, and there are just 3 of us doing it: Rupert Sheldrake, Guy Hayward, and myself. And and if you want to go to Choral Evensong, you just put your postcode into the website, choralevensong.org, and it tells you the nearest Choral Evensong to where you are. And you can go and what they're performing at it. And it's I think it's this country's best kept secret, really, Choral Evensong. It's absolutely amazing. And people think that you've got to be religious, you know, to go. Of course not. Just go and sit and listen and love it, you know, let it all wash over you. And so I encourage everybody to go to Choral Evensongs when they start happening again.
Well, I think we're all looking at the far horizon at the moment with our fingers crossed.
Yes.
Not quite sure when it will all be taking off again, but we'll certainly be ready for it. That's for sure. Ralph, I'm going to say thank you so much for your time. It's been lovely, charming, and interesting as ever in a marvelous combination. I think everyone else is sort of smiling and waving, so there seems to be a general
that's nice
approval.
Bob, can I just to you say thank you for all you do, because your ideas for music and how to make it, how to develop it, and orchestras with choirs are brilliant, and you're full of good ideas, so thank you.
That's very sweet. Thank you. Okay, I'll say good night, everyone.